You wake up, your biological clock stops. For the next 365 days, your body refuses to age. No new wrinkles, no gray hairs, no maturing organs. You are a frozen snapshot of a human being. The world keeps moving, you simply stay. Initially, this feels like a miracle. The mirror confirms the lack of change. Skin remains taut, energy stays constant. However, aging is not just about getting old. It is the process of biological maintenance. Cells must divide to function, tissues must renew to survive. By halting the clock, you have accidentally disabled the repair manual for your entire physical existence. The machinery of life has stopped turning. This is where things get messy. The core problem is mitosis. Most cells in the body operate on a strict replacement schedule. Skin cells flake off and are replaced. Heart cells rotate. The lining of the lungs refreshes. Without aging, cellular division ceases entirely. Telomeres remain perfectly preserved, but the engine is off. Your body is now a static object in a dynamic world. Damage begins to accumulate without any hope of correction. A microscopic tear in a blood vessel stays a tear. A bruised muscle never heals. The biological architecture is now permanent. Every mistake made during the year becomes a permanent part of your anatomy. You are effectively a biological sculpture made of rapidly degrading organic material. You accidentally nick your finger on a piece of paper. Usually platelets rush to the scene. They plug the leak. Now nothing happens. The blood simply continues to leak. It is a tiny, perpetual fountain of red. The wound will never close. The real disaster starts in the gut. The epithelial lining of the intestines replaces itself every few days to survive the caustic environment of stomach acid. Without renewal, the protective barrier thins. Gastric juices begin to eat through the stomach wall. Small holes appear. Bacteria from the gut leak into the bloodstream. Sepsis begins to set in, but the immune system is equally frozen. White blood cells are produced in the bone marrow, but the production line is stalled. New defenders never arrive to fight the infection. The body cannot mount a fever. It cannot produce antibodies. The internal environment becomes a chaotic wasteland of leaking fluids and unchecked bacteria. You are not aging, but you are certainly rotting from the inside out. The irony is that you look exactly the same on the outside. Blood chemistry becomes a nightmare. Red blood cells have a lifespan of about 120 days. Once they die, they are gone forever. Within 4 months, the blood loses its ability to carry oxygen. The brain begins to starve. Lungs pump air, but the delivery trucks are missing. Hypoxia sets in. Cognitive functions slide into a permanent fog. You forget how to speak. You forget how to walk. The heart continues to beat, but the muscle fibers are fraying. Each contraction creates micro-tears that never heal. Eventually, the heart wall becomes a porous sponge. Blood begins to leak directly into the chest cavity. The pressure drops. Blood flow to the brain becomes a trickle. You are now a conscious observer of your own systemic failure. Your consciousness is trapped in a body that is biologically incapable of improving, yet physically unable to sustain its own basic functions. The biological stasis has turned your immortality into a very slow, very methodical form of torture. By month 8, the external facade begins to crack. While you are not aging, the environment is still attacking. UV rays from the sun break down collagen. Wind shears away skin cells. Since no new cells replace them, the skin simply disappears. You become translucent. Veins and muscles become visible through a thin, parchment-like film. Your eyes lose their luster as the corneal surface erodes from blinking. Every blink is like rubbing sandpaper on a window. Eventually, the eyelids can no longer close properly. The world becomes a blur of gray and red. Gravity begins to win. Without the constant renewal of connective tissue, joints begin to loosen. Ligaments stretch and never snap back. Your skeleton becomes a loose collection of bones held together by thinning, static ribbons of protein. You are now a living anatomy chart. The internal organs have largely liquefied into a nutrient-rich soup, but because you cannot age, the cells technically refuse to die in the traditional sense. You exist in a state of permanent, non-lethal critical failure. You are a biological glitch in the matrix of time. The year finally ends. For 364 days, you have been a translucent, oxygen-starved, leaking bag of organs. You have survived only because the aging process, which includes the finality of cell death, was paused. You are a miracle of misfortune. You have reached the finish line of your year of youth, but the clock is about to start ticking again. The biological debt has accumulated. The universe is now coming to collect the interest on your borrowed time. The clock restarts. A year of accumulated cellular damage hits your system in a single nanosecond. Every dead cell, every leak, and every tear registers at once. You age 365 days of decay in an instant. You turn into dust immediately. Your estate is settled quickly. However, the government still expects your back taxes for the year you didn't age. Subscribe to the What If Club for more terrible ideas.